officially begin at 7. So please feel free to settle down, grab a notebook because this one is going to go fast. And let's do a couple things. I see a couple of people joining, Prafulla, Oshina, and all of you. So mm, as you guys can see on the countdown timer, we have like 3 minutes. We'll start at 7, but right now we are waiting for people. And would love to actually know how comfortable you guys are with research and all of that. Can you guys do one thing for me? Go in the chat and let us know on the scale of 1 to 10, how comfortable are you with researching? If you ask me, I would say around maybe 6 or 7 because I'm not an expert, but I know a little bit of our research from my political science courses. So Prafulla, Oshina, and people you have joined, let us know in the chat, rate from the scale of 1 to 10, how comfortable you are with researching. 7. Wonderful. Good for you. What about Oshina? 5. That's fine. Thank you for being honest. I guess we can change that a little bit after our session today. And a couple of notes before we begin. Number one, guys, this is a safe place for the beginners. I am a beginner. Every single time I sit down with a speaker, I realize how less I know. So please feel safe. Don't feel intimidated. If you guys have any questions, feel free to unmute your mic, ask your questions, right? Any question during the session, panel discussions, please feel free to write them down in the chat box as well. Let us know what you think. Anything that you feel like worth sharing, please do that in the chat. It's fine. Turn on your video. That's going to make the room feel much more interactive. So let's do that. Don't worry about anything. If you have any questions, it does mean somebody else had that in their mind too. So be your advocate for them. Ask the question. And let's make it much interactive. Now, Prafulla and Ocean, what are you guys doing right now? Are you a student or early career professional? Or if you're a student, are you a junior student or senior level? What is that? Let us know in the chat. Wow, healthcare student. Where are you from again, Osina? Profile is a student as well. Where are you guys from? New York, South Dakota. Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining. Is it your first time joining, both of you? Yes. Thank you so much for joining. We are really glad to have you guys here. Alrighty, guys, we have around, let's say, 44 or 40 seconds or so before we officially begin at 7. So take your time, grab a notebook. You might need to note some of the things, jot down some of things, and let's kind of prepare to officially begin. Now, the thing with research is that it usually looks very glamorous outside, right? But there's a lot that goes behind the titles and publications, and today's session is going to be focused on exactly that. I hope you guys find it helpful, and I hope it helps you guys to be much more confident in researching itself. Alrighty, for that, we'll need to officially begin this. And let me do that. Hello and good evening, everyone. My name is Alisha Khatri, and I'm going to be the host of today's Nepali Leadership Speaker Series. As I always say, at Nepali Leaders Network, our mission is simple: to empower emerging and established Nepali leaders to connect, to grow, and to give back. Leadership Speaker Series is one of the many ways we do that. It's a space where we bring Nepali leaders to share their real stories, real experience, and real lessons to our community members. And today's session is going to be focused on something really foundational. How do you get started in research, right? So we are joined by Dr. Smeeta Shrestha today. Dr. Smeeta is a research strategist with 20 plus years of research experience in genomics and human health. She has authored 20 plus peer-reviewed publications, including in Nature Genetics and Nature Communications, and has worked across Singapore, India, and Nepal, where she's helping build medical capacities in Dhulikhel Hospital. She's also mentored a lot of students and early career researchers. So everybody join me in welcoming the speaker of the day today, Dr. Smeeta Shrestha. Smeeta Di, welcome and thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, it's nice to be here. Thank you, Alicia, for a nice introduction.
Thank you. Really glad we could make this happen. I am excited. I know the audience is excited too.
Hello.
And
Your brother, king of
Take about.
hi, guys. Can you please mute your mic right now?
जाते बा.
Ravi,
Talin lagla priya re.
let's do this.
Yeah, I muted him. Don't worry.
Okay, thank you. So here's how today is gonna flow, everybody. That's fine, Ravi. Happens. So here's how today is gonna flow. I'll start with a few panel questions, like I normally do. Those questions will build on each other, so we create a foundation of what is research in the first place. After that, the last few minutes, 15 or 20 minutes, are going to be audience Q&A. So it's going to be your time to shine. If you guys had any questions during the session, you can ask then, raise your hand, unmute your mic, and ask your questions at that time. At the end, we are also going to have a quick rapid fire round where I'll be asking Smeeta Di a few questions and she'll have like a word or two to answer them. And before we wrap up, I'll be dropping a short feedback form in the chat. So please take a minute or two to fill it out and let us know what we did right, what you'd love to see in our upcoming sessions. We'd love to have that. So, and that's going to be the whole map of our entire session today. One more thing though, we'll go with the panel questions after this, but during the panel questions, if you guys don't understand the question, if you guys don't understand a part of the answer, please feel free to write them down in the chat. Let us know which part you didn't understand or if you have any questions during the panel discussion as well. I'll take a look at those questions and I'll redirect those questions to Smeeta Di so it remains kind of balanced in terms of interaction from the both the end. Okay, I hope you guys are ready for this. So Smeeta Di, getting back to you. How do you feel?
Okay, I feel quite excited. This is the online, this kind of session I'm doing for the first time. And it's encouraging to see, young students like you all executing such meetings. Yeah.
Thank you. And we're so sorry. We hope we were able to kind of reschedule it some other time. I know it's around what, 5:45 a.m. in Nepal right now?
Yes, that's
Really,
right.
but thankful we could make this happen. Thank you for agreeing to do this. So let's start it here. We know you have spent over 20 years in research in genomics and human health, right? And
Yes.
from outside, when you talk about research, it sounds like a glamorous topic, but I know the inside is something different. So what does research actually look like day to day? What percentage of it is excitement and what percentage of it is repetition?
Okay, so it's true. Research does not look so, so glamorous day to day. And mostly, like I could say that around 85% of the time, we are, thinking of designing an experiment. We generate a hypothesis. Prior to that, we think of a problem which the society is facing now, or the particular lab which I'm working, my PI is working on it, or I myself feel a need for a question, like a hypothesis I generated from and how I can integrate it within the work that my PI or my principal investigator is working on. And then followed by you start doing procurement, you liaise a lot with vendors. A lot of vendors are from US, like you liaise with Thermo, you liaise with, Illumina, different companies. And then you create a rapport with them and to make it easy on both ends to facilitate, the item procurement it faster. Post which there's a lot of biosafety, bioethics, and a lot of IRB, institutional review processes that you have to go through. Then if you are doing data analysis, there's a lot of, because once you do an experiment where there's a lot of repetitions involved, you need to optimize. Sometimes the buffer is not right. Sometimes the incubation time is not sufficient. So things like that. And also while doing programming for some graph visualization or some genomics data, you want to find out variants or mutations, you need to do it multiple times to be confident before you, put it out there in a publication. Then publication is another ball game. It takes up a huge amount of time. You make sure like you need to have various versions of draft before it actually goes to your principal investigator, then to your collaborators. And then after which then there's review processes, then there's like a tennis game, back and forth with the reviewers while you are doing managing the lab, writing grants, writing other papers, or things like that. And
It's definitely
then
all.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
all over the place. Then you're mentoring undergrads who come down for their final year projects, for their 6 months project, for their 3 months projects. They are super excited. So you get motivation from them as well. Then
Yeah.
there's seminars, conferences. Yeah, so it's a lot of things, but it's quite enjoyable. The best part for me was when I design a study, I have a hypothesis, I design a study, I do the experiment, and it matches to what I hypothesize. So that's the highlight of my day.
Day.
Yeah,
Wonderful. It definitely is a lot of work, and it's definitely not that glamorous like people make it sound outside, right?
yeah.
Wonderful. And now, I know you mentioned a lot of things like IRB, data analysis, programming, statistics. When a normal person thinks about researching, it's usually like maybe sitting in front of the computer, going from tabs to tabs, looking at different documents, and maybe writing something, and that is research. So, if you have to break it down into different things, what goes inside research? One, you mentioned statistics, programming as well, math, right? A lot of math, writing. What else? What different works, sections that goes inside research itself?
Inside research. Okay, so basically to start off, if you are asking me, are you asking me the basic, template or background of research?
Yes, yes. The
Okay,
generic
so yeah,
research.
okay, how to generate. So it's quite um, it involves a lot of steps, but yeah, since I've written it down, I thought I'll just check it. So first, you need to come up with a problem. Okay,
Mm-hmm,
very simply put, there should be a problem. Like, and this problem varies from country to country and the principal investigator or the lab you're working on. So when I was in Singapore, my main problem basically was to understand how the microbiota in the gut is influencing your liver health. Okay,
mm-hmm,
that was my major problem because that was what my PI was working on. However, after I've come to Nepal, now my major thing on my head is how to reduce pollution. So
mm-hmm,
you see, the pollution, the PM 2.5 is quite high. So I'm every day ruminating on that. So it should be a problem which is you are facing. And as I told you, it varies from the country or the place or the location you are. Second thing is you need to do a pilot study. Okay,
mm-hmm,
do a pilot study, and the pilot study can be, if you have access to lab, great. If you don't, also great. You can do a bioinformatic analysis, like go on the website. There are multiple websites, and I love Kaggle these days because they have a lot of data sets in them. Okay,
mm-hmm,
and you can liaise with people via GitHub and do an interactive session if you want to, like air pollution, like I told you, there are data out there. There are a lot of people working on it because it's not our country's problem. It's there all over the world. So then I pick data and I do a small pilot study, post which you look for mentors at international and national level who are working on the same thing. Okay,
mm-hmm,
there are a lot of people working in US, UK on pollution, on air pollution or any other, and then you go and find the papers on PubMed, or there's Google Scholar, and there's now lots of AI tools which helps you find very good literature. You find out what they're working on, pick up few review papers, then review papers for the past years, 5 years on the problem that you're interested in, post which you find out specific problems that interest you at a clinical level, if it's medical, if it's non-clinical, same thing, environmental related, or even sometimes medical, environment and industry related, pharmacy related, drug related, after which you find a lacunae in their paper. Okay,
mm-hmm,
you read the paper. It needs to be a thorough investigation, which is very strategic investigation. You read a few review papers, then you came to know this guy has been working on this for 10, 20 years. You find a lacunae that he wouldn't have solved, or he has sidelined it. You address that lacunae and approach him. if you want to do a PhD, if you want to just do a RA, research assistant, or you just want to shadow or tag along as what they're doing for 6 months or 3 months. You write a letter for that, okay? And after which you can look up for grant calls or sit up with him. You design that this is a lacunae in your paper. I read these papers and there's a lacunae in that. And what I would like to address it in my way, such and such, okay, this way. So actually I had a slide for that, but let's not bring that into picture. So how to write it, and if need, I can share those slides, okay? So
Yeah.
then after which you can see calls. There are multiple WHO as well as a lot of Wellcome Trust funds, okay? If I'm not wrong, EBI, European Bioinformatics Institutes. There are a lot of projects they fund. Small scale, they fund for a year or 2 years. You can apply for that with the PI's help, okay? The one you're writing. And you both can collaborate with, he will know multiple other people. You will know young students who will, like you, want to get involved in various aspects of it, maybe biological, medical, how this air pollution is helping at the medical level. You get hold of clinicians. You find industries which are willing to fund your, some protocol or prototype you're going to make. If you're engineer, very well. You don't need to be biologist. You can be from any field. Now there's scientific journalism, so many things, right? So the young people, they make their team, they liaise with these academic people or even industry people, up to you, whoever's interested in your thought process. Then you apply for a grant call, and then this is how you can initiate your research work. So like I said, starting, you can do a dry lab, go to databases, extract information, make your hypothesis, collect funding, liaise with a PI or collaborate with a mentor via LinkedIn or other social network. PIs are very active, okay? They're active on Twitter, they're active on TikTok, they're active on Instagram. You can find groups on Discord as well, multiple groups with same, mindset. And you can do a project. Sometimes you don't even need to meet them, You bring up the topic and you meet them via in your Kaggle competitions, or you meet them via other online places, and you use Discord as put up the problem. And this is the steps you're going to identify using softwares or tools. And then you maybe meet them once in a week, once in a month or 6 months as a seminar or in a conference. And it works. It's not like old times that you really need to sit and huddle in a table and get things done. You can work from anywhere. It's a really good time to be in research now.
Wonderful. And one more thing. So it helps the audience to kind of visualize what you're talking about. If you want to use slides as a reference, that's fine too. You are free, feel free to use that. I guess
Okay.
the audience would understand better as well. And now I know you mentioned a lot about, if I want to summarize that for the audience first. So
Sure.
steps involved would be, number one is problem identification, right? Second
Yes.
would be pilot study. By pilot study, we mean looking at the research work that has already been done so far, right?
Yeah, that means literature search. Secondly, data search, and then do a preliminary analysis with a small scale of data. Yeah.
And third would be to find a mentor who has already worked on those national or international mentors. Fourth would be to find a lacunae. By lacunae, we mean the gap in the research, isn't it?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Gap in the research. Research is very broad, right? And even if someone's working on air pollution, they might working on particulate filter or certain other using greenery around to address the problem. So you find what interests you, and then you read about in the PubMed, literature that PI has worked on that area that interests you, yeah. Then you find the lacunae that he has not addressed or he has sidelined. Because when a principal investigator writes a paper, they will write down the limitations. Okay? At the end, near discussion and conclusion, they'll write down his limitations. You can zoom there and also find out. Yeah.
Wonderful. I guess, Smita, the audience is actually willing to actually see the slides. I guess it will be easier for them to kind of take a screenshot or keep a note of it as well. Would you mind sharing the exact slides? Do you have the slides where
Oh,
you mentioned states?
yes, I do.
All right,
But yeah.
let's bring it up then. Somebody in the chat was willing to take a
Okay.
look at it. While Smeeta Di is doing that, guys, if you guys have any questions till now, any confusions, or if you want an explanation on a certain portion of the answers, please feel free to let us know in the chat, okay? We'll try our best to make it as interactive as it can be. So let us know in the chat what you think. Any confusion that you have so far.
So is my slide visible?
Oh, it is. Yeah, of course. Wonderful. So guys, if you want to take a screenshot of it, please do that. It looks like a very comprehensive slide. So it will be helpful. Take a screenshot or take a note of it. Actually, I guess I need to do that as well because I'm going to need this. Wonderful. Now, moving ahead, Smita, I know you mentioned a lot of databases, right? Can you name a couple of them, especially for academic research for students who are just beginning, like most
Okay.
trusted
Okay,
databases,
yeah.
let's say?
So I generally look at two of them. One is NCBI,
NCBI.
the other is EBI, okay, European Bioinformatic Institute. And now, sadly, due to the NIH funding thing, the PubMed is not updated so much.
Mm-hmm.
There are lots of that. And then you have GitHub, you have Kaggle,
Mm-hmm.
and then there are a lot of nowadays, you understand, right? This genomic sequencing platforms are there. If I'm not wrong, Illumina and PacBio and all this. So when uh, um, they also have their sample small scale data is there with them. Let's say cancerous, non-cancerous tissue, and different types of uh, what do you say, um, samples from patients. Also, you have this Wellcome Fund, which has their own databases as well, because they take frequently workshops. So they have these small sets of data, like between healthy diabetic patients and things like that. Yeah. And then there's Megan, if I'm not wrong, Megan, which is a metagenomic database where you have from people from different places, different dietary and their gut profile. Yeah.
Gotcha. Wonderful. That's a comprehensive list. I'll just read it out for the audience once. So it's NCBI, EBI, GitHub, Kaggle, Illumina, and Make right?
Mm.
Wonderful.
There's a lot more, but yeah,
There's a
I've
lot
been
more.
using those frequently. Yeah, you get the hang of it. Once you start Googling one or using any AI tool to search one, you'll get multiple more. Yeah.
Perfect. So now going back to something that you were mentioning a lot earlier, problems, right? How do you know which problems are worth looking into or which problems are worth researching? What differentiates a strong question from weak research question?
Okay. So for that, you need the problem should matter to you. Okay, it should really. Sometimes if you're joining academic or you've joined an industry, they're already working on something, right? Which may not interest you, but which may not interest you in the beginning, actually. But once you get into it, it's sort of like it's like I told you, the problem can be very diverse, even if it may sound just like air pollution, like I'm telling you, it's an umbrella term. Same thing with the problem, it's a very umbrella term, okay? If you're interested in biology, you will try to find a biological aspect of that problem, okay? Like I'm talking about air pollution, I've just put in the measuring. But if you want to know, okay, leads to lung infection, okay? How many children are having lung infection? Medical. So it interests you, right? Air pollution would be particulate matter and all, that's environmental. Or let's say an engineer may be interested on the particle size or a nanoparticles, they're coming up a lot, right? The studies on them. So it's the problem is there, okay? Or sometimes then you need to find what interests you. But if you want to start something new and you want to coin or you want to think of a problem, you think of a problem which I wouldn't say any problem or any research question is good or bad, frankly speaking. It just how much it affects you. Like I'm talking about this, it may not affect you there, but it's affecting me here. But if I
Gotcha.
talk about diabetes, okay, it's very, very happening. Diabetes, cardiovascular, everyone is facing asthma, or breast cancer, or let's say colorectal cancer. Those people think is very important. But because end of the day, to tell you honestly, end of the day, it's not the question and the research part, it's how passionately you endure, you're resilient to follow it for like maybe few years. So that's important. And secondly is if you are designing a new, you look at few reviews of latest. If you're interested in medical, you go to PubMed and you search, there's options of filter. You search for review papers for 5 recent years and what kind of health related issue is the topmost there now. Okay. So you will see with time now there's a lot of gastrointestinal problem coming up. Okay, cancers is there, but gastrointestinal coming up. That's why gut microbiota and your diet, your probiotics, your prebiotics, all these are coming up now. Food, before we go to the market, we just buy the food, right? Now we'll read up all the constituents, how many is it microplastics there, things like that. So basically what I'm trying to tell you, you have something in your mind that you are interested in. You go to PubMed, find recent 5 years review papers on them, and then from there you go, you zoom in down further, like what kind of studies are there already. Review will tell you the broad thing. Then you zoom in to the people or the papers, which is sort of like, you feel is more closer to your what you want to work on. Okay, and then from there you go. And frankly speaking, sometimes the question might be very naive, very naive. But when you search online, you'll find there's a lot of things people have done to study it. The most funny thing I will tell you, I think I'm using these headphones, you can see, right? The wires one. As
Yeah.
why it entangles. There's a paper on it that when you leave it, why does it entangle every time you try to retrieve it? That's why AirPods came right now. So things
Okay.
like
Yeah.
that. So when you're putting in the bag in earlier times, you see these wires always tangle up, and then someone came up with the wireless, earpods. So things like that. There is a paper on why every time you put it nicely, you coil it properly, you rubber band it, and rubber band it will not. But if you coil it properly and put, it's always entangled when you try to open it. So there's a research paper on that. See, so yeah, nothing
I
is
must say, yeah.
wrong.
And I must say, there's always something to research about, isn't it?
Yep, yep.
Wonderful. Now, since we earlier talked about a kind of a misunderstanding about research being glorious, glamorous, and all that. So next, I really want to touch on that again. So, what is the biggest myth that students, especially the beginners in the research, have about research, especially those who are thinking about the grad schools? What is that one mistake that beginners tend to make in the first year?
That you have to start with something big.
Okay.
Okay, you don't have to start with something big. You have to come from an elite university to be able to pursue research. Okay, you need to have a hypothesis or pilot or some idea already with you. Yeah, basically you need to be coachable. You need to be open, and you're
Okay.
willing to. Coachable means willing to learn and willing to put yourself out there. The most important, and I wanted to say it at the end, but I think I would like to say it now. Be okay with failure, because it's going to happen. Okay, and it's more like it's very emotional in a way. Yeah, so you need to be okay when things are not okay, and still pursue it. So that's very important. Everything won't be hunky dory. Okay, and there will be bad times, and the best thing is be okay to make mistakes, learn, and you don't need to be perfect when you are getting in. it's a work in progress, they say, right? Yeah.
Wonderful. And next question, I really wanted to frame it into a very naive language. Okay, let's suppose a second year undergraduate student is coming to you and saying, I want to research, but I have no experience. I wanted to build up on the earlier question. In that case, what would you suggest this person should do in the next 3 months? Is it emailing professors, maybe taking a statistics class? What exactly should they do in the first 3 months?
Okay, the first month, I think it's there or not. Okay, so sorry, I'm just using my slides.
Yeah, please
So
go ahead.
yeah, so like, okay, this is a continuation. Okay, so this is an example I took up. Okay, you look at PubMed, you find a person, then you look for grant calls, then this is a summary of the person. So what, okay, sorry. Yeah, so this is what so first month you do identify your interest, okay? And it's very important, especially in the now 2026, that you find a problem-based research, okay? And you own that challenge, that whatever problem you're facing, I mean, you want to work on, own it. Read around 15 to 20 key papers, plus the 5 latest reviews, like I told earlier, right? So your first thing is like you are just walking back from your work, or something, is always on your mind, something which you're not okay with, you're not happy with, maybe in your workplace, related to your profession. Then you identify the problem, okay, that this is a problem that's been bothering me. Then you read if there's anyone has addressed or any prior work has been done on it. The best is usually 5 latest papers, and from them zoom down to the specific, or you feel this person, the way he's approached or the way he's addressing the problem is more to your liking. Then you zoom down on those papers. Okay, that's on the first month. Lot of literature work and lot of mind regurgitation. Okay. Second is contact 3 to 5 mentors and draft a mini research question. Okay, and put out your hypothesis in that as well. That I feel that doing this would be able to inhibit or reduce the problem a bit. Okay, and lastly, you finalize your data. Okay, and data collection. Start your data collection. Finalize the proposal. Start data collection and do a review. Okay, so this can be both a dry lab approach or a wet lab approach. Okay, so when I mean dry lab is you found a mentor, well and good. He's willing to invest and start writing funding for you, or he has already the funding and is keen on your research. Then he will include you and you do a 6 months or 3 months project with him. If not, you do a dry lab approach. And that's why I'm coming back again. You need to own the challenge, okay? You need to feel the need to solve this problem from very within, because no one, it's going to be sometimes a very lonely journey. So you need to keep chasing it after, even when others have dropped out. Be ready to stand alone and do it. If people are there or not there, people are there, well and good. If not there, also do a dry lab approach and try to address the problem. Yeah.
Wonderful. This is such a comprehensive list. I really appreciate you putting that out. Guys, please feel free to take a screenshot. I guess this is going to be really helpful when you actually start getting your feet wet into research. Now, this looks such a comprehensive list. Now, let's say somebody doesn't have any experience in research at all, right? What should be the different places or different opportunities where they can learn about research, especially for students? I know one could be like them trying to be the research assistant for the professors, right? What are the opportunities are available for students, especially if they want to kind of learn a little bit about research?
Okay. If they want to learn about research,
Mhm.
actually, there are a lot of, okay, to start off, there are a lot of platforms you can learn, like as I told you, if you're interested in the dry lab thing, like you can go to databases where you can, like simple, very simple question you want to ask is like, now there's a lot of hype is coming up on that also. That is, could COVID vaccine lead to cardiovascular issues? So you just put up that question, things that's thinking on your brain, and then later you find, papers, or you can find data, just like, you have like 50 patients with having this one. I told you, you can get it through PubMed. You can just write, I don't know if I can,
In the chat?
I'll just
Oh,
have
yeah.
a look. Yeah, I can just, one sec. Why it's not. Yeah, so like I said, these are the questions. Yeah. So like I said, this one, right? So you can think this thing way through. And there are, okay, this is just basically dry lab, which you can do in isolation, even alone. And as you can see here, there are a lot of, if I'm not, I told you mention Welcome Fund, or I think, yeah, Welcome Fund, they host a lot of these kind of things free. Okay. They have held webinars or workshops. Welcome Fund, if I'm not right, yeah. I had a slide on that. I cannot have it now, but they have these data analysis, relating data to healthcare, finding if there's any drug a person has taken and how it's influencing them, affecting them. Is it better or not better? Like the whole hypothesis would be the drug has effect on whatever they're trying to do. It has no effect. So such data is out there, and small data sets, I told you, right? So the people there take workshops, okay, on that. Then you have a lot of, I have a feeling the students would be aware, they have a lot of MIT, Harvard, Coursera, EduX, another is Data Max. There are a lot of these platforms where they have free sessions which you can take for doing more about research. Okay. So, and as I told you, you have a question. So there's a lot of hypothesis generating research question, and you have I think it's a Welcome, which has a lot of such workshops where they teach you as how to generate a hypothesis or generate a research question. Okay. Then, and simultaneously, they hold another workshop to do systemic review or general review literature search. Okay. How to collect data for your specific interest. If you're looking for data against a particular, let's say I'm saying that, okay, COVID-19 vaccine does lead to early cardiac arrest, then I'll be biased, because my question is, I want to see if it has a negative effect. So I will search for papers which, selectively filters that. But if I'm the other way around, I want to say, no, it doesn't. It's just the age factor or other habits of the person. Then I will start searching literature with that mindset. So there are courses which like each section you can do, and how to do this kind of dry lab data analysis. There's workshops. And then for statistics, I think most of you know there are a lot of Coursera, GitHub places where you can learn to do these statistical analysis for epidemiological studies. So you call these epidemiological studies, where you're trying to associate anthropometry or biochemical, like let's say your LDL level, your sugar level. You want to relate it to a person's genotype, a person's data, sequencing data, or things like that, or even just a person's group, male, female, age group, BMI levels. You can do such kind of association studies. Yeah, and all the information is out there. It's free, and there are courses and classes which is there. Often I cannot. I had it in my slide. I'm just not able to find. Yeah.
And guys, while Smita is looking for that, Please feel free to drop any questions in the chat if you guys have any confusions so far.
You can see here, yeah.
Yeah.
Learn to read scientific papers, then understand basic research. Take short courses, okay? Practice. Take a small, simple paper and read and try to see if you can summarize it, okay? Put out your point. And now you have this AI tools. So what you do, you take a paper, I don't know if I've written, yeah, like that from PubMed or something, because this is the search I did because I was trying to see congenital hearing loss is high in Nepal. So you can see that there's only 2 publications. So, and yeah, like I said, they should not be, preferably, there will be a lot of publication, but just, yeah, by chance, there are few publications. So you know that not much work has been done.
Got it.
So you sort of like find the paper, and then you can see this tools you can use, various citation. Sorry, my chain of thought. So what I'm saying, you take up a paper, simple one paper you read, and then you summarize. And then you can put that paper in Notebook LM or your other software and see they will generate in bullet point and you generate with a handwritten bullet point. See if you've missed anything. So there's a lot of ways you can cross-check on yourself to know that you have imbibed or understood that research paper very well. And if you feel that, oh, you've written points and the one that has come back from the AI is also similar, then it's quite, you've sort of like you can test yourself for each of these skills as well while you go along. Yeah.
Gotcha. I really want to ask the audience to actually kind of take a screenshot of it because the tools that Dr. Smeeta has been mentioning so far, it looks like there's a whole list of all those tools in here. So guys, take a note and maybe screenshot it. It's going to be helpful as well. Now, Smeeta Di, throughout our conversation, I've heard you talk a lot about solving the problems, right? So problem solving skill looks like a really important skill for a researcher. And now building on that, I know you have mentored a lot of students and early career researchers, right? What is that strong differentiator, that kind of difference, an average researcher or from an exceptional researcher? Does it have anything to do with writing skills or maybe tech skills, mathematics skills? What is it that one trait that compounds over time?
Okay, so the one thing, I had undergrad, 18, 19-year-old students, a batch of them when I was teaching genetics. So the one thing you have a classroom of like 100, 150 students, okay? And from that, you see exceptional 10 of them, very good in their theory part, okay? When classroom theory and everything. Then they join. Out of that 10, 5 of them come to you. They want to do research under you, okay? End of the day, 2 stay. 2 only manage to be there with me. And it's nothing to do with their, other academic qualifications. It's just they are more determined, There's a saying, that the fire inside you should be brighter and more than the fire outside you. So we all have our daily hurdles, right? Our fire outside means your daily hurdles. But the inside you, which you want to achieve something, you want to get this done, you want to be accountable, those things. It's very innate traits. It's not anything you can quantitate, but you can see. So this is my real experience. I had academic student of 10 of 100 of them. Then 5, 10 of them say they want to do research under you. Only 2 stand. And they've been like, they joined me in 2017 and they were with me till they published paper in 2020, 2022. So with COVID, without COVID, wherever they were, wherever I was, when I said I'll have a Zoom session, they turn up. And when I ask them to get things done, like, it's a job distribution. I get this done, they get that done. And they do come back within a week of what they have said they will do. So it's the consistency and their determination which makes them, good researchers. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so getting that printed on my t-shirt, like the fire inside you should be stronger than the fire outside you. Wonderful. And now if I have to summarize that well, it's determination and resilience that matters much more than other skills, right?
Very much, very much. And
Perfect.
sadly, you can't quantitate that.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Now, you have published in top-tier journals, including in Nature Genetics, in Nature Communications. And I know we touched on a little bit about the publishing process as well. Let's be
Hmm.
specific to the publishing process itself. What are the steps involved in uh, writing a
Okay.
paper to publishing it?
Okay. So there's multiple steps. It's not straightforward. I added this last minute because I thought this might come up.
Perfect.
Okay, yeah, publishing and research. So it's a very long ball game. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I have, yeah. So first you design, okay, you write, you do all your experiments. Nowadays, ethics is very important. You need to take, if you're using animal samples, human samples, you need ethics. Then now you have this environmental parts also you need to address sometimes. How, this carbon credit and all those, how much carbon has been used, like all those consumables, a lot of plastic waste. So all those need to be addressed. In When you're submitting for your manuscript, they're going to ask you in that manuscript submission, especially Nature, Science, Cell, they ask really detailed how much waste was generated and things like that. So it's like you're applying for some very big, project. So then you write the manuscript, then you select the journal. Okay. What I'm telling you now is you have to keep these in the checklist, they will ask you, and you should be thinking how you're going to address that to them. And while you're doing experiment, that should be in your mind as well. So because that's what the manuscript submission, one of the sections would have.
Got it.
So then you select the journal you want to submit to, and now luckily I think Elsevier's, and many other scientific report and science report, scientific report, and there's multiple these in between. There's the actual publisher, and then in between you have these um, institutes which actually take in your abstract and suggest you the potential journals you should submit your paper to, okay, with the highest impact to the a bit lower impact. And they will and with the integrated AI in this their such softwares, the AI can suggest you lacunae why your paper may not be fit for this journal. And if you add in these components to your paper, maybe this journal will accept. So it's something like, I want to send it to a very high impact journal, but my paper lacks this one experiment or this one question. The AI and joined platform with this will tell you that which experiment you need to done. If it's feasible, you can do it in a week or a month. Generally, researchers will add on. They will add on that extra experiment, so it becomes eligible to go to this particular journal you want to think on. And a lot of institutes have the journal divided into different streams, Q1, Q2, Q3, they name it. So if it goes in a higher journal, you get credit points as a principal investigator or as a researcher. So it's quite a different thing. Then after this, then there'll be first round will be editorial screening. Let's say your paper gets accepted, then there'll be editorial screening. This will take a few months. Then it will be very difficult for editors to find a peer review. So sometimes from the editor's desk, he or she would already see that it's not fitting the journal or it's not up to mark. They will send it back to you, and there will be no explanation. But if it goes through to peer review, okay, then it's quite good, because then you get a reviewer's comment as why the paper is good or bad, or what other things you need to address. Okay, so peer review is a long process, because peer review is not they're not charging. So you need to the editor needs to find a panel of peer reviews who are in that same niche, the niche that your paper is, and they're willing to review it for you. Okay. Then after which the peer gets back, then you do the revisions, and then they send it for publication. According to me, it takes, if it's very good, it'll take you, if everything goes efficiently, everything is on time, they manage to find the peer review, the editors manage to find the peer review, the revision happens fast, the peer review gets back to you, things like that, then it'll take 6 months. Otherwise, it can take a really long time. Yeah.
Gotcha. This is such a
Yeah.
comprehensive process, I must say. And now these slides are so well made. I guess I should have asked you to share the slides like from early on, but we might have to kind of show all the slides for the audience once they're actually willing to take a screenshot of all of that. We'll do that after this last question that I'll be asking you, if that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Wonderful.
okay. Great.
All right. Now we have talked about the process. We have talked about the skills required. Circling back everything to the time when you started. Okay, let's say if you were 18 again today, would you still choose research? Yes or no?
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes,
That was a
yes,
very strong yes.
yes.
Now, if you had to provide a piece of advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Yeah, okay, that I'll do. I was stupid. Okay, I tell you truthfully.
Uh,
There were a lot of red flags when I joined, and I should have been more cautious. But yeah, when you are young, I guess you feel nothing is, impossible. Yeah.
Possible.
So I wish I was more, I could have thought more rather than just, thought of action. You need to be more cerebral, right? Yeah, which I think it comes with age, so I don't blame that. So, yeah. So I thought
Wonderful.
I wish I would have stepped with a bit caution, to whatever I said yes to. Yeah.
When you are young, you feel like you need to take steps immediately all the time,
Yeah.
right? I guess
Yeah.
that is also something that develops with time and maturity and ease as well. Very well explained. Loved it. And can we go from slide one to this slide? I guess these
Yeah.
slides are going to be really important for
Yeah. I want to
really
share one very much. I want to share my biggest things, the stupidity which I did.
Okay,
See, when you reach
let's
a
see that.
certain age, you're okay with sharing your stupidity as well. Okay, so this is it. Like I said, the first year mistake. Okay, you want to chase prestige over, like competence, and you try to show you're very busy when actually there's no progress, and the statistical discomfort. A lot of biologists, we don't like statistics, but you have to learn it. You cannot, hide it. So yeah, I went, all these yellow ones is what I did. And yeah, and then my mistake, which took me 7 years of my PhD, I have not told this, is that my PI wanted me to generate this mutant mouse line, and the lab did not have the infrastructure for it. And I was new to Singapore, and I still took the project. Okay, so this is how, naive and really, sometimes bullheaded one can be. And then now this mice is in Jackson Laboratory. Okay. Yeah, and I have various publications from it, but I would still consider it my mistake. So you get what you're saying? Youth can be very funny.
Got it. So I guess whatever you mentioned, there are five of them. I feel like I'm making all five of the mistakes right now, but need to take a look at it.
No,
Wonderful.
you do. When you are young, you can afford the mistakes. This is me, like, for 20 years later, that I'm saying, okay, that was a mistake. But that time, yeah, you don't realize it.
All of our time will come. I guess,
Okay,
yeah, the slides would be helpful for the audience.
you
So
want me to
everyone,
go through it, or how
just
do you
one
want
by
me to?
one, just a few seconds to take a screenshot and move ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
Guys, take a note, take a
Yeah.
screenshot. The slides are very well made and are going to be really helpful.
Okay.
Oh, yes. Can you drop the file itself in the chat instead, Smeeta
Yeah, I can do that, but it's got
Very-
animation. Okay. I'll drop the chat there.
Yeah, let's drop it in the chat. I guess that would be helpful. Why didn't I think of that?
Yeah.
Really dumb of me. So, thank you so much. That was actually so comprehensive. I wasn't expecting to learn this much, but now it feels like, whenever you are doing research or whenever you are learning about something, you pick on information from all other sources, but at the end, you just don't feel like you have the context, right? Research was something like that for me as well. And after this session, it just feels like at least I know now the foundation of what research looks like. So really, really grateful for that. Thank you so much, Smeeta.
Most welcome.
Thank you. And I guess we're getting closer to the top of the hour. So now is the time when the students can actually ask the questions directly to you. So guys, Now is your time. The Q&A session begins. So if you guys have any questions, any confusions, please feel free. So raise your hand and ask your name. I'll call out your name. After that, you can unmute your mic and ask the question directly to the speaker today. Or if you don't feel super comfortable doing that, that's fine too. Drop your questions in the chat. I'll read it out to Smeeta at the end. We can go from there. Okay. I guess I see a couple of questions already in there. There is one question which says, how is your affiliation with Dhulikhel Hospital helping you to conduct the research? They want to know more about your experience there.
Okay, so I just joined in January.
Mhm.
I'm still navigating the system. People are quite helpful. There are delays, but I think that's what a PhD has, groomed me. I'm very patient and persistent. So so basically it's new for them, new for me as well. So it's like I was thinking of as a biological concept. It's like a graft, The graft will take time to, to the host and the graft interaction is quite interesting. So this is what's happening. So what I'd say, they are helping me a lot, especially when you're procuring things. I know it's how to say, it's new thing we are starting. So I'm starting small, Nepal is very different from Singapore. The work system, the culture, the thing. So I'm trying to navigate that. And things are happening. It's just things take a bit longer, and you need to explain a bit more as from both ends as why we need this, because it's correct on their end. They're investing to start something. They don't know me, I don't know them. We are two strangers, we need to work. So it's nothing to do with nothing to academics here. It's very innate human traits that we should we should be able to caliber very properly to be able to come out of this and execute what I want to.
And I
So
guess
we are both working on it. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Tell me,
no,
Gesha.
go ahead. I guess a little bit of that is also systemic, right? The system is different.
Yes.
So
Yes.
comes the
Yes.
bureaucracies and all the red tape involved in it.
Yes. Yeah. Those are there, and I know they're there. But
Mhm.
they say, right, if you want to, I try to see the positive aspect. Okay. If it happened, it's supposed to happen in 3 days, but it happened in 1 week. I still cheer. Okay. It happened in a week. So it's a
Got it.
slow process. It will not happen so soon. And I'm okay with it. I'm
Mhm.
okay with it. It will take time. I try not to get agitated. And I have devised a system where, the Tunikale, the plains are, the geography is very helpful. So you
Mhm.
go for a walk. You find ways to, not get agitated, not because you are the one who's trying to do something. You cannot get, mulled up in your own emotions, that just because things are not happening your way.
Mhm.
So we have to find, it's a new learning for me as well, challenge as well as learning.
Mhm.
And like I told you, it, it's nothing related to genetics, as you say, right? I mean, like I'm establishing a genetic lab, but the process to get there, it's a lot of growth for me as well. But
Mhm.
it's going to happen, and I'm very positive about it. Seriously, even if it
Really?
takes a long time, it's going to happen, and I have the right triggers and motivation. Yeah.
Wow, so well explained. Next, I see a question about mentor. Let me frame it a better way. This is most probably asking the best way to approach a mentor, like how does one find a mentor?
Mm. So, like I said, first you find out what topic interests you, right?
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
earlier, I told you this air pollution thing. Then you go online in PubMed and
Mhm.
search the problem. You'll come up with a list of papers which has the author. Okay.
Mhm.
Do zoom down to the last author because that's the person who's the corresponding author. Then
Mhm.
you just click on him and then you'll see a list of his publications. Okay.
Gotcha.
And if possible, you'll get a review paper also if he has done a lot of work. Okay. Then
Mhm.
it's a process. You're just not going to write to him that I read your paper, this, I'm interested in your lab, can I join? No. All principal investigators are busy, but they need help as well. But they need help or assistance from a person who's able to contribute to their project, not just
Mhm.
add on and come to the lab and learn. No, you should be genuinely interested in the process. Okay, let's give a very simple example. You need a freezer in your house, or you need a microwave to heat up food because you have long working hours, let's say. You need a microwave. You don't just go and buy, right? You do see which is reasonable cost, which is this. Then you go out. You do a pre-analysis of a lot of things. So same thing with the professor. You do analysis of what his work is, okay, and then you maybe suggest as how you can contribute. It can be very naive. He or she would be very will look beyond the other applications because you have made effort to add in your 2 cents to it. Okay, so that is very important. Introduce yourself in the email. Talk about his work which interests you. Be very specific, and then add how you feel about that, how his work, or how you feel you can add value to it, and then suggest a Zoom or a quick meet or thing like that, and end it. Yeah.
Wonderful. I guess it sounds more like a change of mindset, right? Rather than asking for a favor, it could be something like,
Yes,
this is
yes,
what I can provide as a value to
yes,
you.
yes. Yeah,
Wonderful.
it's daily thing we do, right? Yeah, one should add value to wherever one is applying for or looking for a position.
Wonderful. Got it. So another question that we have in the chat is, what is the average salary? I don't know if this is a question that you can answer or not. Average salary for a researcher in Nepal. I'm just asking for my own planning. Please
Okay.
do not disclose yours. I mean, like tentative average one.
Yeah. So the salary will range about 1 to 1.5 L. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thanks. So that is it. And next, that I'm interested, I had a question about was like, you have worked across academic plus industry translational environment as well. What is the biggest difference between academic research, clinical research, and industrial research? And how should one choose between them?
Okay. It's like asking the difference between pineapple, banana, and papaya. Okay.
Is it?
So, yeah. So, in terms of thought, in terms of the constituents. So, academic is very, very, it's nice in a way that you get freedom to do a lot of things. You have a lot of questions while, okay, you asked a grant for this particular hypothesis, but in between you can play around. There's a lot of room for creativity and innovation. And industry, not so much, because there's always a product at the end. So wherever there's a product, there's a lot of finance and capital involved, and that's where creativity goes out the window.
Gotcha. And about the clinical, yeah?
Yeah, that's as a clinical also. Clinical research. Okay, clinical research is very challenging in a sense that it needs to not only need to use less capital and able to add value to the patient. So basically, academics can be innovative, creative, and you have a lot of time, Clinical will be very patient-oriented as well as capital in a way, because everyone wants to bring about good for a patient, but less involved of funding. Unless the hospital or anything is very well funded, but still you're careful while you're investing for things. So, and it needs to add value to the patient. And to be honest, I have done a lot of work on genomics, but when I come down to a lot of work, a lot of papers have happened, metagenomic, genomic, transcriptomics, proteomics, all those things. But I realize that now, looking from a clinical perspective, there's very few studies which have added value at the patient level. Okay, so yeah, so that's very challenging. Industry is you repetitively do the same thing. You have room for innovation, but it's quite limited because a lot of industry has R&D lab also, but it's very time bound. You can't take 6 months off and then come back and do your research and things like that. So in the R&D, and it's very product based, and how much you have to, the reagents and the assays and the diagnostic kits you make, like the COVID panel, and now you have the breast cancer panel, you have the pancreatic, and all different lung cancer, different panels. So those, to make those is very expensive because a lot of work has been happening. And so basically the cost factor plays a very important role there. Clinical, the patient factor, while academic, yeah, you have a lot of room to play around.
Wonderful. I really love that. And I know you have to leave in a few minutes to vote.
Yeah,
So
vote.
I'll try to bring this conversation to a close. So if you guys have any questions, I guess now might be the time. We might have to bring the conversation to a close. So I'll just go ahead with this rapid fire round. And after that, I guess the session basically comes to an end. Okay. So this is actually the fun part. This is what I've been waiting for so far. So
Okay,
just
good.
one or two words, or maybe the first instinct that comes in your mind. No explanations, just the first answer that comes in your head.
Okay.
Okay. All right. There you go. The first question: a groundbreaking idea with imperfect data or flawless data on a modest question.
Could you repeat that?
Any groundbreaking idea but imperfect data, or flawless data but a modest question.
Number 2.
Number 2, wonderful. Flawless data on a modest question. Second, challenged and established theory or just strengthen one.
Challenged and
Established, पहिलेदेखि established भइसक्यो theory-लाई challenge गर्ने कि just strengthening the one that already exists.
First one.
First one academic database every beginner should know.
PubMed.
PubMed. Most important skill for a successful researcher.
Skill. Vigilant. Resilient.
Resilience. Wonderful. On a scale of 1 to 10, how important is statistics?
Oh, 8.
8. Wow. On a scale of 1 to 10, how important is writing?
6, 7.
6, 7. Academic or industry, if you had to pick one forever?
Academic.
For sure.
Yeah.
Research as a long-term career, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Most underrated trait in science, most underrated skill in science?
Accountability.
Ooh, that's nice. In one sentence, why is research worth doing?
It gives you reason to get up in the morning. You're passionate about it. Yeah.
Wonderful. Very well
Yeah.
explained. That was so sharp. And that is how 20 plus years is distilled in like 120 seconds. Wonderful. Loved it. As I said earlier, this kind of gave me a context around researching the right way, right? It doesn't only mean like searching for a topic in Google and like just skimming through whatever links show up. Thank you for really explaining the whole process, nitty-gritty that goes into making a research successful, from writing to publishing. Thank you for all the information. Really, really appreciate that, Smeeta Di. Thank you. Really glad we could have you here.
Okay, great. Great to be here.
Wonderful. And guys, thank you everyone for showing up. I am always so grateful. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for showing the will to learn every single Wednesday. I see you guys show up. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for asking the questions. Thank you for trying your best to interact with the speaker. And I've dropped a quick feedback form in the chat. Please take a minute or two to fill that. Let us know what worked. Let us know how it could be improved in the future sessions. And we really appreciate all of you being here. And please don't forget to check out the event section of our community platform and look out for new sessions or new events that are happening. Would love to see you guys in the next room. I'll be here for a couple of seconds. Let's say a couple of minutes. So take your time.